So he's like, "Yay."
Yay.
You went live without telling me.
Well, girl, it's top of the hour. What you want? What you
Oh
expect?
my god. This is so funny, y'all. Hey, happy Saturday. Yes, I
Saturday.
love it. So, obviously this is kind of like out of the norm of our normal timing and every Saturday because usually do the show on Saturday mornings, but it's okay because this amazing guest deserves all the accommodations possible, right? That we can provide. So, how are you guys? How are you, Sia? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. As I was mentioning earlier, it took a little bit out of me because if I feel slightly bitter, I decided like 20 minutes before, I'm like, I cannot get my feet to warm up as opposed to, I don't know, putting socks on like a normal person. I was like, you know what? My feet would feel really good in hot water. And then I dipped my foot in my bathtub. And then I was like, you know what? Why don't you dip the rest of my body in there? So I literally just got off
Mm.
a nice little soaking bath moment for Sia. So I feel
Yes.
all loosened up.
Well, your feet really do need it though, right? Because you've been so busy with projects this whole week and networking and just outings and events, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, peoples, I actually thought I had another week. I really thought Christmas was next week. So, surprise. So, yeah, no, I'm a little frantic to get everything done so I at least have a couple days off to celebrate. But
Yeah.
yeah, girl, how about
Yeah.
you? You've been like out and about gallivanting.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's these last 2 weeks have been really jam-packed with so many things, between projects that we're working on with Brilliant Being Media and my own personal projects, and then the girls and work. And you're like, oh my God, how do you do it? I don't know sometimes how I do it, but you know what? We're here. We get up every single day and we get to see another day. We fight and we just make it. We really do. But yeah, so I wanted to show the audience a little bit of what I've been up to, and kind of show my girls and their activities, and wishing everyone a happy holiday for sure. So this was my daughter's dance, as I remember back in, I guess it was September. She made it to the dance team, and so they put on their Christmas show, and you can see her. She's one of the captains there, leading the younger ones on stage, and I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of
Wow.
how far she's come along and the confidence that it builds.
That
Yeah.
is just so sweet, man. I love kids like performances like this because they do work so hard and it's just
Yes.
like that moment of for them to just say, "Look at me. Like I'm doing some booty kicking, mom and dad. Like check this out." I love it. That's very sweet.
Yes, and it's wonderful to see kind of her growth and how she's blossoming in front of my eyes. And again, y'all, she's 10, but it's she's more mature than that age, and I love it. I love supporting her in all her activities. So you must understand, I was like I'm everywhere with my girls, but my youngest one, you see, she was doing the gingerbread house, and mind you, we really don't have those traditions in El Salvador. So for me, it's like a fusion of these
Mm.
things, them having a Dominican background, a Salvadoran background, but being born here in the United States. So it's just like a great fusion of everything. And I know this is one of the topics we're going to talk about as we move in the program, but it's just wonderful to see her building that and just putting it together, her creativity. And she wore a Snow White dress. Do you see
I
that?
see the Snow White. I
She
was just
refused to wear Christmas.
it's Snow White. It's still in the
Winter? No?
winter
No.
time, yeah.
Is it? Okay. Yes, girl. You don't know. It's like we argued. And I said, Jalen, you cannot take that. It's Christmas. You gotta wear something else. And
It's
I
so pretty. It's so
yes,
pretty.
in the world of, of Santas and elves and everybody who doesn't want to be Snow White. So I let her wear it. I was like, you know what? You're gonna do you, boo. So I'm
Hey, let them be, right? Like, that's the best thing.
yeah,
So, look
yeah,
at that. Oh, she
yeah.
as tall as you now. Holy smokes.
And I'm wearing heels there. And yeah, my oldest one is going to be taller than me, and both of them are going to be taller than me. I mean, gosh, we're near 5'2", Sia. What
That's a
you know,
tall 5'2" lady. Back off. That's a tall 5'2".
we love it though. But I just wanted to wish you guys, from my little family to yours, a Merry Christmas if you celebrated. All the other rest of things that are, I guess Kwanzaa, all the other ones,
Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah. Yeah,
everything.
everything.
Happy holidays encompasses that in general, but it's at the end of the day, it's just the spirit. It's the spirit of unity. It's the spirit of giving, and just being, with family and friends and people who care about you. So shout out to all of you who are here on a Saturday evening. I know you either wrapping gifts, I don't know what you're doing on the other side of the world, how you celebrate, but let us know. Get in the chats, get in the comments, and let us know how you celebrate Christmas Eve and then Christmas Day, because it's different for us in El Salvador. It's Christmas Eve is
Eve.
the
We're Evers. Team
big.
Eve. Christmas Eve.
Yes, yes. So yeah, just let us know in the comments how you celebrate and what you're doing and what part of the world you're commenting from. We always like to know. Just give you a shout out. So
All
let's
right.
let's go ahead and run the intro and get to it, lady.
Let's do it.
Hey y'all, welcome to my corner. This is your girl Raquel, aka Raqi. Step into our world of connections where I'm a proud Hounds of Business Pack leader, which is a community of entrepreneurs committed to sharing positivity, growing together, and never forgetting to inject some fun. Get to know amazing people in this safe space, so come and join me in my connection corner. And dance, and dance, and dance, and dance. Hey, hey. Okay, we still have one more show. I was just like, this is going to be the last dance of 2023, but no, we still have next week. So it's
We
all
have
good.
one more.
Yes, one more. But, anyways, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome to this special edition of Raquel's Connection Corner. I love being here. I'm so excited to see your comments. Just I just love learning from people. I don't know if this is, if you love that, but I learn learning from you, girl. Soaring Profits, Hounds of Business, thank you so much for being here on this Saturday evening. Like I said, you guys are wonderful, and this entire year y'all made my year. We've learned together, we've grown together. My OG Randy House, happy holidays to you, love. Thank you so much for always supporting and always showing up. It's it's a wonderful thing when we say people who show up and have your back, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I mean, like, look, if the comments are just like, I don't know, a clear example of true connections and authentic connections. When
Mhm.
these people are talking to each other, you guys, everyone in the chat, even if you don't know someone, just you can feel the familiarity, the comfort, we've all gotten to know each other in so many different ways. Like Stephen Ang, look, I've never met Stephen, but I love that guy.
Yeah.
Stephen, I love you, man. Seriously, like one of the nicest people out there. And honestly, if it wasn't for LinkedIn, I'd never know him.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
what a loss for me, right? And
Yeah.
of course, like, look, Canuckians, the Soaring Profits guys, I'm sure they're gonna come up quite a bit of
Yes.
comments here today, but, um,
Yes,
there's
yes.
just so much. I mean, again, you get these inside jokes with Randy, I mean, literally, because of me and because I'm so busy, I'm also often double booked. I would
Mhm.
often to give support to people that are live streaming. I would just drop in and say, "Hey, I'm here. I'm here to support you. I got to be team replay, but I just want to say hi." And Randy, that's how he got to know me. Was she is always saying hello and goodbye, and
Yes.
so
Yes.
that's another thing, which is always so sweet.
You miss it when you see that, and I know it because, like I said, it's a vibe, it's a feel, and so many individuals from, especially from the house community, are always showing up. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for the year of support, camaraderie, giving back, and we couldn't do it without you guys. Shout out to Mike Asherbanner for bringing us all together. We were reminiscing literally like a year ago we met, and my gosh, look where we're heading and where we're going from now on in 2024. So
So much.
I'm so excited. But anyhow, guys, like I said, I just wanted to share those thoughts, and I'll try not to cry today. We have a special person that he's always made me feel so good, and I don't think Mark has ever made me cry. No.
Oh no, he's gonna make you cry today. Look, lady, something tells me about today, this is gonna happen. It's gonna be on. So let's bring our good friend Mr. Mark. Everyone,
Yeah.
please
So
welcome Mr. Mark Reid, aka Zen Sammich guy.
I
I
want to get in on the dance party, so I vogue. That's what I
oh,
do.
you're voguing.
Oh wait,
Okay.
Yes.
you know what's so funny? I was gonna do this one for you, but I love you, so I can't do it. I'll just do little
Oh,
notes. Oh no, not that one.
Oh, well,
Okay.
that's more fitting, I guess.
Oh my God, Mark Reid,
Yeah.
the one and only gentleman in this. I don't know, man. I don't even know how to describe you. You're just something else extraordinary. Thank you for being here and welcome. For you, it's what
I
time, sir?
It's early in the morning. I mean, not too early. It's 9 a.m. ish.
And
Yeah.
Okay.
you,
Yeah,
And I just
but you've been up for like 5, 6 hours,
I
guy.
know I do. I get up when the sun gets up, and I'm just
yeah,
so happy to finally make it to the bodega corner here, Rocky's Bodega Corner. I call
bodega.
it the Bodega Corner. I don't know. I don't know. Is that a Salvadorian thing? I know. I used to live in New York, and like the Puerto Ricans and the Italians, they're like, "Yeah, let's go down to the bodega," and the bodega was like the corner store where you buy like I don't know, just
Yes,
uh,
yes.
whatever.
No,
And so,
bodega is more for like the Caribbean. It's more for Dominicans. They say bodega. Yeah, we say
okay,
tienda. Yeah, but you're good.
Mm.
all
Oh,
right.
well, my Uber driver last
So I've
night was
already
from
offended
Honduras,
you.
by the way.
No, no, you haven't. I have Dominican daughters, so you
Oh,
haven't offended me. So,
oh,
but
great. Okay.
yeah. So Japan. Oh my gosh. Again,
Yes.
it's like, how have we made it work this entire year with you being over there, us collaborating, cross pollinating? Like, it's just magnificent. So tell the audience a little bit about you. If you don't know who Mark is, oh my God, where have you been? No joke.
Yeah, I don't even know because I don't want to just like retell stories that people already know. But by the way, I am wearing a shirt for you, Rocky.
I see that. Look at that, you guys. Oh, Texas A&M, go Aggies. Hey,
Yeah,
whoop.
I got my Texas A&M shirt on, and I screwed up my microphone in the process of showing that off. Anyway, if you don't know who I am, I'm from Alabama. I used to be a lawyer. I used to be a professor. Now I just make paper. I make and better than this paper. I make with my wife Washi. That's traditional
Mhm.
Japanese handmade paper, and I podcast too. I mean, I'm not as cool as the corner here, but I'm working my way up the podcasting ladder.
Oh my
I don't.
God.
Yeah. I don't know. What else you want to know?
Okay, well, so if y'all don't know, Mark has been one of the most incredible. I would say I would call you a mentor in this journey that's called LinkedIn. So many of us, get together, we ideate, we talk about things. We have midnight parties, productive parties on LinkedIn. Well, not on LinkedIn; it's like off LinkedIn, but they're meant for just actually ideating, collaborating, but having a safe space also to have conversations. What's going on with life? So it's very therapeutic in itself. What do you think of those moments, Mark?
I love it. Actually, the time difference works out well for me. I mean, except I know that you normally do this thing on the morning, and you accommodated me for some reason this time, which I appreciate. But like when we get together, when we get together off live events, when we're just having a powwow amongst ourselves, it's evening for you, which works better for me. It's morning for me, and
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
I enjoy it, and you guys are mentors to me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's one of those things. I'm trying to figure out exactly how we met, Mark. Do you remember that?
it's got to be through the hounds, right?
Through the hounds.
When I started growing on LinkedIn, there were three Raquels that kept popping up. There was you, there was Boras. There's another one. I don't see her much anymore, but there was
The other,
another.
yeah.
There's a third Raquel. I'm like, man, this is just like this is too many Raquels to keep up with. But I had noticed you probably long before you noticed me, but through Mike Ashebrainer and the Hounds, we all became a little bit closer. So yeah, it's been about a
Hmm.
year, I would say.
Yes, it has. And through that year, man, like I said, we've learned so much and all the different projects that we do. But I want you to go back and just tell me, how did you get into law, or what drove you to get into law? Because you are an attorney.
Yeah, well, there's like the answer I give most people, and then there's the true answer I'm going to give you
Mhm. Okay.
because it's over a woman, and it has to do with my wife. So I'm going to try to make the long story short, but my wife and I, we met in 2005,
Mhm.
2004, 2005. I was living in Tokyo, and I was teaching at that time. I was teaching at a university, and we worked for the same company. I was teaching at a university, but I got the job through a third party company. Anyway, I said long story short, we started dating then, and she was really into the show Sex and the City. Do you remember that show?
Yes, yes.
Okay, of course, right? Everybody does. Well, I have always been a more of an Aiden than a Mr. Big. Like I've always been, if you know the characters, well, I've been
Mhm.
more of a John Corbett character without the height than Mr. Big. But she was really kind of more into Mr. Big. And so when I went to back to America, I went to law
Mhm.
school in New York so that I could become Mr. Big, so that I could impress
Nice.
Mm,
I didn't
my
see that
mm.
future
show, so I
wife
don't
at that
know,
time.
but I had heard people didn't like the Mr. Big character. Like they always thought Mr. Big and her relationship were toxic or something. That's all I hear. I don't know.
It was. I totally
Mm.
disagree. I tried to convince my wife's name's Haruka, and I tried to convince Haruka back then. I'm like, look, Aiden is the guy you want to be with, not Mr. Big. And she eventually came around. It just took 15 years.
15 years. Look at you. But it didn't ease up. And after how long now? How long y'all been married?
Today is our anniversary. No,
What?
yes,
Oh, oh wait, wait,
December.
wait. I have
Wait.
to. Yeah, you have to. Congratulations.
Yay.
Well, I see Janice said that Aiden was always better. Thank you, Janice. Thank you for the support there. Yeah, we got
Okay.
married on Christmas Eve. It's December 24th here. I know it's still the
Yeah.
23rd there, but it's the 24th here where we got married. So it is our anniversary, and so it's our
Aw.
4-year anniversary. I've been here 5 years, but I've known her for almost 20 years. I've known her 18 years. So
Well,
there you go.
happy anniversary to both of you. Many,
Thank you.
many
Me.
blessings
Yeah.
and years ahead for you guys. It's amazing. That's so, like, their story. It's one of those things that you don't, it's like moving across the world, and starting a life together. It's a, story to
Well,
told for ages.
part of that was right timing too,
Mhm.
because I had been an attorney by that time for 10 years and was already at the point where I don't think I want to be an attorney anymore. I was already transitioning away from law, and that's when we rekindled our conversations. And in 2018, I said, "Why don't you come visit me in America?" And she did. She met my family. Everything went swimmingly. Everything went well. And then she, in early 2019, she said, "Why don't you come visit me in Japan?" So I did, and I just didn't leave. So
Mhm.
here I am.
All right. Well, so that's interesting. So how do you transition though from that to paper, and why washi?
Well, that it's a family business. She was already into it.
Okay.
But the kind of interesting thing about that is that she like me had always been an urban dweller.
Hmm.
So she's from Tokyo, but we live out in the countryside now. But a few years before I came over, Japan has a kind of a program, a sponsorship program, in order to preserve the traditional arts and stuff. Because young people, they're not thinking about, I want to go become a traditional Japanese paper maker. But
Hmm.
Japan wants to. It's a 2,000-year-old culture. They want to maintain that stuff, so they pay people to go be an apprentice and learn the craft and to carry it on. So she had kind of gotten, just like I got fed up with law, she got fed up with her urban cubicle, corporate
Hmm.
life in
Hmm.
Tokyo, and decided to explore a new avenue. She went through her own midlife crisis, I guess you could say. I don't know if she described it
Hmm.
that way. I'm describing it that way. But so she became a Washi apprentice. Now she has her own. She makes it herself, and I make it.
Hmm.
I'm the apprentice now. She's my boss. So there you go. That's how I did that
Mm.
transition. As far as law, I was already on my way out. I was a solo practitioner then. Like
Mhm.
I started out as a prosecutor, as a district attorney in New York. Then I later worked for a large firm in Birmingham, Alabama, in securities law, and then I had left that already, and I was just doing solo projects. But
Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
already ready to shut it down, honestly. So
I
it's just
see. Oh,
timing worked out perfectly.
gotcha. Well, Janice, shout out to you, love. Thank you so much for being here today. She asked, "What part of Japan do you live in?"
I live in Yamaguchi, which if you, I mean, I don't expect anybody to know the Japanese geography, but there's 4 main islands. You might know that. Hokkaido's the one up north, Kyushu's in south,
Mhm.
and Shikoku's the little one. Honshu's the main one, where like Osaka and Tokyo and all those are on. So this is on Honshu, the main island, but at the bottom of it, at the southern tip of it.
So
Oh.
what's the distance from you to, like, let's say Tokyo?
Well, I'm gonna head there actually January 5th to see my favorite comedian, Tom Segura. He's actually got a concert in Tokyo. I'm gonna take the Shinkansen. So by Shinkansen, the bullet train, it's going to take me, I think, about 4 hours to get there. But if I flew, it would be like an hour and a half.
Okay.
Driving, I don't know. Driving, it would be like 8 or 12 hours.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know.
Well, because it's not a straight highway, you have to like kind of move around because the island and all
The
that,
mountains
right?
and
The
all that
mountains.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
driving, too, it's not like America where you just hop in the car and you get on the interstate and you drive across the whole thing for free. If you get on the highway here, it costs money. So it's just better to like get on the train or take a plane.
Let's see. I've never been. I've never had the opportunity to go to Japan, but I did see in the comments there that hey, maybe we do a road trip to Japan.
You got a place to stay in Yamaguchi.
Yeah, I think that would
Uh,
be awesome in 2024. We need to branch out and do so many different things. Yeah, right. What do you
careful,
think?
careful what you say, man. Because the talk of us like literally just like convening in Japan, like whether you want us or not, is I think it's happening more frequently. If there's a smoking deal, something tells me you might have like a party in your front lawn there. That's all I'm saying.
It- yeah, and then we have to really be careful with that because it's different, right? Different cultures, different vibes, and how I guess how they celebrate over there, right? It's
Well, I think
different.
it'll make sense. The friendly neighborhood bodega, I guess. These nice, wonderful Japanese ladies will understand why Mark goes and grabs like a can on what was it, Sunday morning for you because Saturday night for us or Friday night for us.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's what it would be. That's what it would be. That's amazing. And now, Mark, so we already discussed, right? Law and then washi. But the third component, and then one of the most that you actually were known for, is your podcast. You are stellar, phenomenal. Like the way you craft your words and the way you play them, and it's just amazing. I love catching up on those episodes that you release. And so, tell me, how did you get started with podcasting?
Well, the Zen Sammich was initially a blog, and the way that happened was someone had asked me to contribute to their blog about just 2 articles about Japan. I did so, and they posted it, and I started looking at their blog, and I thought I can do better than this. I could create a blog that's better than their blog, and so I created one. But then initially I wanted to create the podcast to kind of supplement the blog, but the opposite happened. The podcast got a lot more traction than the blog. Nobody goes to blogs anymore, apparently. So then I did away with the blog, and the website just became the podcast website. But as for the premise or the theme of the show, do you know the Gandhi quote, like, be the change you want to see in the world? Like every Zen podcast I ever listened to was boring. It just put me to sleep. So I thought I'm going to be the Zen podcast I want to hear in the world that doesn't take things too seriously. It's not too it's not meditation around the clock or whatever. I wanted to make it fun. I wanted to expand it beyond just Zen stuff too. That's why I have all kinds of different people on the show. So yeah, I just wanted to be the Zen podcast I wasn't hearing.
And so that's very interesting for me. And I think Chris has a very good question here. But Mark, when did you become Zen? So it's two components to that, right? But go ahead.
Yeah, that goes back a little bit further. I had I'm not like flaunting my credentials here, but I kind of should. If I have a podcast about Zen, you shouldn't just be a regular guy. I mean, I should be able to say I do have some knowledge in the subject. So I have a master's in philosophy and ethics from Florida State, and my bachelor's was in political science and religion, the two things you can't talk about at a party, and I went on to Florida State to get a master's in philosophy and ethics. Anyway, through the academic study of religion, I learned. I grew up in a Southern Baptist Christian home, and I didn't study other religions till I got to college, and I learned more about them. And the more and more I studied Eastern religion, it spoke to me, and that just coincided. It was coincidental with my interest in Japan. I wasn't interested in Japan because of Zen or Zen because of Japan. I just happened to be interested in both at the same time. It just happens to be here. So that began 20-something years ago, to answer Chris's question.
Okay. And so what in I know we've asked you this question so many times, but and I love your answer to it. What exactly is Zen in general, and then what exactly is Zen for Mark Reid?
You know what, Zen? I saw an answer once, and I'm not going to get the quote right, but I can get it close. In essence, Zen is just to pay attention, to just pay attention and be present. So it gets deeper than that, but it's, you hear the word mindfulness all the time, and well, be present in the moment. But that's what it is. It's to notice all of the things that we take for granted, all the things that we see as mundane and ordinary, to notice the beauty in them. Whether it's a flower or it sounds all hokey and like we should grab hands and sing Kumbaya, but let's like to notice the breeze on your face, and to take time to pay attention and reflect to how that feels. I meditate when I wash the dishes because I
Okay.
take time to just feel the water going over my hands, and instead of me like letting my mind wander into embarrassing things I did in the past or planning out my future, which probably won't happen the way I want it. I just notice, hey, there's water running over my hands. Zen is in its essence to pay attention to where you are,
Okay.
when you are. There you go.
Yeah, it's Syya. I know. I was going to ask you that. You being Thai, how does the concept of Zen fare with the culture?
Oh, you put me on the spot, girl. I'm Thai when it's convenient, aka New Year's. I'm like, I'm right there partying with everybody for the Thai New Year. So I think when you think of Zen, right? For me, I'm not that religious, but I do recognize Buddhism is like really intertwined with being Thai. It's just part of our culture. At least that's how I view it. And Zen is like it's just a way of being, right? When you are intentional and living in gratitude, you don't get a lot of quote emotional swings, right? You don't go from super high highs and you don't go super low lows. It's because if you have achieved a certain amount of zen within yourself, I call it finding your center. When you have like horrible instances of life things happening to you, of course you're going to feel a lot of those emotions. But because of the strength of where your core is, it just pulls it right back in. And so for me as a Thai person, I do find meditation, transcendental meditation, where however you want to do the non secular way of meditating, I think it works. Do I do it every day? Hell no. Do I do it all the time? Hell no. Do I do it when I'm at temple? Hell yes, because that's the time you enjoy it, right? But it's but I think you'll find culturally, in Thailand particularly, one of the biggest things I hear from people say is, "Oh my gosh, everyone in Thailand is so nice," or "Everyone in Thailand is so kind and just chill," right? And I think if you are living in your center in quote Zen, uh, you get that calmness as a society. You don't get those extreme swings of personalities and conflict, because you are okay within yourself. So therefore, all the other things that you cannot control in life, it just rolls off your back.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh,
if I could jump in there, in Stoicism,
mhm.
which is kind of like the Western cousin of Zen, there's this thing called the dichotomy of control, and that's that you should really only concern yourself with the things that are within your control,
Yes.
and not worry about all those things that are beyond your control. I actually have an episode coming out to plug Zen Sammich. I have an episode coming out
Yeah.
on Monday
Mhm.
that is the title's going to be "I Quit the News for 1 month and This Is What Happened." So it's an episode where I discuss like I cut off the news for a month,
Mhm.
and you know a lot of positive changes happened when I did that because you know of course there was a concern about like becoming ignorant, like not knowing what's going on in the world, but I really recognized, I don't want to spoil the episode so people will actually listen to it, but I
Mhm.
recognized that like I read so much news and have anxiety about the news when I can't control 99.9% of it.
Yep.
Mhm.
You know, there's a volcano going off in Iceland, and that's horrible for the people who have to flee their homes. But I can't do anything about
Exactly.
that, so
Right.
I took a month off from the news.
I hardly watch the news. I don't even have cable at home, to be honest with you, just because I just feel like I get depressed when I watch the news and so much negativity, right? And we're over here trying to inject positivity, great vibes as we move along in our journeys in life. So I
Mm.
completely get that. So I'm definitely tuning into that episode to see what you found out. And people should definitely do it. Just get away from social media, get away from whatever you can for a month. I think we should do that. What do you think,
Yeah.
Sia?
I'm 100% girl. We haven't had cable in years,
Yeah.
and by the way, it's a generational thing. Um, because we have our internet, we have the ability
Mhm,
to just take an OTT device. Why pay for cable if you can get pretty much all the content you want at your own fingertips, right?
mhm.
So yeah, no, I think you know what I love about this conversation is the fact that and it couldn't be more perfect timing. Mark, I apologize. I thought you've already been on this show before. And Raquel was like, no.
I know.
No.
And I was like,
I
oh,
can't. I've had all of y'all, and I can't get on anybody's show. I can't get on the Soaring Prophets. I can't get on
Oh,
Bodega
Jesus.
Corner. I can't get on Real Talk. The Hounds only lets me on when like nobody else is willing to show up. I
oh
can't get
my.
on any of these shows.
Oh, see, okay, first off, Real
Mark.
Talk is technology people, and it's my client's show. Okay,
It's
it's not
okay.
my
I
show.
understand.
He was
I
messing with
understand.
you, but you know how
I
Mark
can't get. I
is.
can't get on Rock the Boat. I'm too old for that one. I just like I can't get on any show, and I even
He
dressed up for you.
but you're here. You're here, and I appreciate that. So, guys, this is just a taste of the shenanigans that you get to experience whenever you experience the Mark Reid experience. There we go.
Yeah.
I coined that term. But there's a very particular question that the audience is burning to know. How is
Hmm.
your Japanese?
Sugoyo.
Like,
Jozu. No, I do all right. I do pretty well. The
okay.
the thing is, if if it's the three of us hanging out and we went to an actual Japanese restaurant that had Japanese employees, which most of them don't in America.
Mhm.
Like I've been to Japanese restaurants in America to practice, and it's they're staffed by Korean people or Filipinos or something. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
you don't even have any Japanese people here. Anyway, if you heard me speaking with a Japanese person, you would be like, I was going to say Sugoi impressed. Sugoi is like, you would think like, wow, that's awesome, dude. You are fluent. But
Mhm.
I know where my level actually is. So
Okay.
my Japanese is better than you two, but I can't like watch a movie and catch everything because there's all kind of nuances and references, and
Okay.
Japanese has so many different levels. Like if I'm watching I do watch stuff in Japanese, and I
Mhm.
can catch a lot of it. But if I watch something like a samurai drama or something about the yakuza, they're using like specific terms that I'm like, what are they saying? But
Mm.
imagine a
Mm.
Japanese person trying to watch Train Spotting or something. Like they're not going to catch a lot of that. You don't even know what that one is, Raquel. I
No,
can
that's why I
see.
was like, wait, the references. I'm like, okay, here we go again. I feel left
Syya,
out. What is
you
that?
know Train Spotting, right?
I do, but I haven't seen that thing in like 20. Oh my God, they're
Yeah,
almost 30
it's
years, dude.
old.
You just
To give you
dated yourself. Just kidding.
Well, yeah, I am an old man, but to give you an idea, with Train Spotting, it's all Scottish accents, and they were so heavy
Yeah,
that when that movie, it's in English, but when that movie came out in America, they had subtitles on it because it
they
was
had to
so
do
hard to
subtitles. That makes
understand.
sense. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
trust me. We
wow.
went to when I traveled with my boyfriend to Newcastle. That's where his some family lines are down that way, and they're talking to us, and I'm like, "We're still in England, right, you guys?" Like that, and because Newcastle is just south of Scotland, right? So it's like right on the
Right.
border. And I'm like, I don't understand their accent. I don't know what they're saying to us. And yeah, I felt really, really bad. So we're at this bar and we're just talking, we're smiling, and like I'm looking and I'm like, and then finally one person looks at me
Yeah.
and goes, "You don't understand us, do you?" And I'm like, I understood that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. See, that's like my only fear of like traveling, to other countries where I don't know the language. Like I'll be fine with French and
Uh,
Portuguese, right? And Spanish, but like Japanese, like, oh my gosh, like, ooh,
but
what
I
about if
mean,
I
you
Mhm.
could get around. There are people who live here who don't speak any Japanese. I actually do okay. I mean, I could have a regular conversation. I couldn't debate philosophy or politics and, in Japanese, but I can
Okay.
have a normal day-to-day conversation. And I
Okay.
do with my wife all the time, and it's gotten to a point where sometimes the Japanese pops in my brain before the English does. Like if I'm
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
asking my wife, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Daijoubu desu ka?" Like it that goes into my head faster than "Are you okay?" And so,
Wow.
yeah,
That is pretty interesting because, like I said, I think you and I have had this conversation where how do you
right,
think or your first, in specific situations. For me, I always default to Spanish. For some reason,
right,
it's more descriptive and it's easier for me to think that way and then build my sentence in English because there's some
yeah.
things that are not translatable, like they don't translate at all. So I'm like, oh my God.
The thing about English to Spanish, Spanish to English, is that the structure is pretty similar. There's a few things, you might say like red car red or something instead of red car
Or-
in
Mm-hmm.
terms of the
Mhm.
order. Japanese, you almost can't do that because the order is so reversed. I have a student. I actually teach Japanese to a foreigner here,
Mhm.
and you would think like, why would he take it from you when he could just talk to any Japanese person? Because I know how his brain works, and
Right.
his
Oh.
level is so elementary. I'm like, you got to stop thinking like subject, verb, object. You got to almost put it in reverse, and you got to start thinking like Japanese people do.
Wow, which would definitely be very difficult. I guess you would really have to be immersed in the culture because I found it that that's the best way to actually learn. Put yourself in the middle of everything, and you have to
Yeah.
just like take it. To be honest with you,
You
uh,
learn so much faster that way because
hmm
you have to do it. You've
hmm
got to figure out how to do it. And when you learn language that way, where you're forced into it, it
hmm
sticks with you. Because if you just read it in a book, you forget it 5 minutes later.
Well,
yeah,
I think the thing about languages in general, though, like if you are immersed in the culture itself, because language is language, but language is rooted in the society and culture that it's coming in and deriving from, right? So if
Mm.
you're in it, if you're in it like you are living in Japan and immersed, and you're like knee deep in it, you start to understand why those words are the way they
I,
are. Why,
I
it's just
absolutely.
it's that
I
hmm
unspoken part, right?
yeah,
I'll give you a prime example. I mean, not to get too much into linguistics here, but like I'm doing this with my student all the time now. The American guy who's learning Japanese, he wants to take the English that's in his head and translate into Japanese. So he's constantly saying watashi wa. Watashi means I, and wa is a sentence directional word that just so it's basically like saying as for me, blah blah blah. And
hmm
I keep telling him like, dude, don't say watashi wa because Japanese people almost never say it. They almost never say the word I. And the reason why is because it's implied, and it's a more, and this goes to the cultural point, it's a more groupthink
hmm
society. Whereas in America,
hmm
we're always about me, I do this. Well,
Right.
it's almost rude to say I frequently in
hmm
Japanese. Because
hmm
if you want to say I'm going to the store, well, you just say store ni ikimasu. Like I'm, and the I part, you don't say the watashi part because it's implied I'm going.
hmm
Anyway,
mm
I could go down this rabbit hole for a while, but the point is, culturally, Japanese people think in a group think mentality instead of
Yes.
I.
Oh, and
Yes.
it's ingrained in the culture, and that's why I like that. I respect and I admire Japanese culture in that sense. But
Yeah.
I feel like there are too many rules, right? But it's unwritten rules. It's more etiquette and respect. And so, yeah, I would have to really train before going to Japan, I think. But we have you. You'll
Yeah,
take us around.
I'll show you around. Trust me, I know all the bad areas of town to go to.
Dude, can I just tell you, because it's for me fresh in my brain. So last night, my boyfriend and I watched the final two episodes of season 2 of Alice in Borderlands, which is a Japanese TV series.
Oh,
And I gotta tell you, man, I was just laughing because I was like, I can't understand a word they're saying, so we had to read the thing, captioning, and then finally it was hard, so we just like just did the English dub, and I could
mm,
feel the difference. And so you're making me crack up a little bit because I was like, I don't understand a word they're saying, but yet I felt more connected watching the Japanese original version
yeah.
than the American dub.
Yeah,
It
I don't watch anything dubbed. I watch it with subtitles. Sometimes I turn the subtitles off just to put my abilities to the test. But yeah, I watch it with English subtitles.
That's
So when you watch
amazing.
like TV shows and like of that nature, do you find yourself because you understand the context, you understand it, or do you really
That
like understand like 80% of the words? Like,
Yeah, no, both. Well, I mean, I understand probably 80% of the words, and then the context actually reinforces the word. Like, you learn you learn the words better because like there are some words, and we have them in English all the time. I'll tell you this, and you're going to say, well, that sounds difficult. Well, trust me, English is full of them. There are
Hmm.
words that will have two completely different meanings. Like the word for chopsticks is hashi, and the word for bridge is hashi. It's the same word, same
Oh,
spelling, same hot, same pronunciation. And you're saying, well, that's confusing. Well, it's not, because you would completely know from the context. You eat with chopsticks, and walk over a bridge, and you just happen to
okay.
use that same word. You know from the context which word you're using. But we say it all the time. I mean, the word well can mean like good, or a container for water. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
right?
Like, we have words like that all over the place in English.
Got you.
English
Sorry.
just
Yeah.
English is tougher because of the idioms,
Yeah.
the things that don't make sense. Like, I had to teach my students play it by ear the other day, and they're like, "What does play it by ear mean?"
Yeah.
You decide on the spot. Why is it play it by ear? Like, I don't know. English is crazy.
Well, I think, yeah, well, English is an amalgamation of multiple different languages, right? So we don't have like roots that's very direct and defined, right? So if you think of
Mhm.
like Spanish, right? They're all Latin rooted
Right.
languages, right? United States. I'm so biased. The world revolves around the U.S. But the English language is literally pulls from everything, and I don't know how people learn it. I'm glad I'm native to speaking English, of which I can't speak right now, but I'm glad I'm native to speaking English.
Oh my God, girl! I'm telling you, your English this week was rough, girl. Randy just made a comment there about the rabbit. We're still trying to figure out what you meant by the rabbit in my comment.
Oh my god. Okay, people. There's a reason why I don't comment from this damn mobile device anymore. The typos on this son of a sea cook, like, back off, people.
Oh my God, that was hilarious. Like she did it back to back, and I was just like, "Is Sia on her phone again? Take it away from her." I'm just kidding, because she comments from her desktop. So the autocorrect, it's funny. It's funny when she types it in. But
I'm
anyways,
glad you find humor in it, lady. Okay, I'm glad you find humor in it. So let's talk about this collective group thing here.
yes,
So,
yes.
so, so, Stephen, I'm right there with you. Right? Is a being that you are a child of the United States, but now you are. I'm based on what you're saying. You're pretty much going to be permanently in Japan. Um, this group think, was it a hard concept for you to really? I mean, we think we understand it conceptually, but when you're now immersed in it, is it that hard of a transition, or did it make sense for you?
You're referring to Steven's comment, but you're asking me, right? You
Right,
said
right.
Steven, but you're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I want Steven to answer that. I'm kidding.
I was confused a little. See, we're struggling with English right now. It wasn't a hard transition. I feel like I actually have the benefit of understanding both. So I totally get it. I totally get the group think mentality. Like, kids here in high school, junior high, elementary, even, they all clean the school together. They don't have a janitor like we do in the United States. Imagine trying to ask junior high school kids in America, like, hey, it's cleaning time now for the next 20 minutes. We're going to all clean the bathrooms. We're going to clean the classrooms. Kids would flip out. Even their parents would come up to school. Like, my kid doesn't go to school to clean the But in Japan, it's like we all do this together. And it's not like the teachers and the principal set aside and watch the students clean. The principal grabs the cloth and is wiping down the counter and cleaning desks right there next to the students. It's
Yeah.
all collective, society, and that's a beautiful, wonderful thing, right? So
Yeah.
I love it, but there's a drawback to every philosophy, even
Mhm.
Zen, and the drawback is that a lot of times in Asian cultures they lack creativity, or not. I wouldn't say lack creativity. Everybody's got a spark of creativity in them, but they are afraid to stand out because they don't
Mm.
want to stand out from the group. So you get a lot of shy students, or you get
Mm.
students who aren't willing to, truly express themselves. Whereas in America, it's encouraged. So
Yeah.
you get the individualism in America is good in terms of promoting creativity and confidence, and whereas that maybe sometimes it's lacking in Asian cultures, but Asian cultures have the edge on teamwork and
Mhm.
being
Mm.
in a group. You know, you should see baseball practice here, man. It is amazing. These guys are like I watch a high school baseball practice here, and it's like a machine. It's way more. It's like a well-oiled machine. Whereas in
Wow.
America, even in a team sport like baseball, you still want to be the superstar. You still want to be
Yeah.
the ace guy on the field. So.
Mhm.
You
Well, sorry,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Raqi.
No, I was gonna say that I've seen it more than anything, like for the World Cups, whenever the Japanese are cleaning the stadiums, like they're picking up the trash. Like to me, that is just so it sends a message just to the world, like get your stuff together, guys. Like start doing this. So I just
Oh.
think it's amazing.
Well, I think it's that gratefulness, right? So again, I think you got cultures that respect and appreciate when there is kindness given, right? And I think with that group think mentality that you were talking about, absolutely, you will be cognizant of that someone is being kind to you. Um, And now you just got me distracted because I was just thinking about the whole stadium thing and how amazing, like every World Cup. I mean, it's well known. Like the
Yeah.
locker rooms look amazing, and
Yes.
then in other teams, it looks like freaking Tasmanian Devil went through there. Like a 5-year-old like party just like happened in there.
Yeah.
Um, so let me ask you the. I get the idea of all is one mentality, that group think. But then you got the outliers. So you got this like alternative scene in Japan, like the Harajuku district and all that stuff, where those
Right.
people really stand out. So can you help me understand, as far as like, is that considered like, are they considered like, whoa, woo, woo, like, oh, you're kind of out there, or is it considered like, oh, they're just trendy on trend people?
That's a good question, a fascinating one, I think. No, I mean they're accepted. It's almost like I would explain it like this. You know how goth people in America are, they're different, they're edgy, they're going to put on their black clothes and black makeup, and we're going to be goth, and but then at the same time they're kind of all conforming. Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
just
yeah.
they're conforming to gothness.
Yeah.
And so like the Harajuku people, yeah, they go stand out there and they wear this outlandish clothes, but they
Mhm.
kind of do it in this way in which they're conforming to their own little group of Harajuku people. So they can't get
Mhm.
away from it in some instances. But they can't show up to school like that. Let's put it that way. I mean, that would be prohibited. But it's celebrated. It's not it's not something that like the older generation looks at the Harajuku kids and think, "Oh, those kids, they don't know what it was like back in my day when we walked to school or whatever."
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
I'm trying not to crack up, y'all, from the Soaring Prophet.
I,
I'm sorry.
I,
I am
I
trying,
I saw
guys.
something about like how would Canadians do in
Guys.
Japan, and I mean, you don't want me to answer that question. I'm sure
I think
that's
they already
pretty much
know
a
the
pass.
answer. I
Yeah.
mean, come on, you two.
Oh my God.
We're not even gonna entertain that one, but I will entertain this one. Uh,
Mhm.
where do you shop for hats, sir?
Yes.
Me, I actually bought this one. I have a lot of hats. I wear this one because it's kind of my signature for the podcast.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I have a bunch of hats. I got this one though. This one is my favorite in Korea of all places. I had when I
Oh.
first got here before I got married. I came over to Japan on a tourist visa, and that's only 90 days.
Mhm.
And so I had to like step out of the country to step back in to get another 90. Now that I'm married, I'm here, I'm a resident, I'm good. But I didn't have a job when I came over, and it's hard to look for a job while you're here because there's rules against that too, because they don't want people just
Mhm.
showing up looking for a job. So I had to stop. I had to step out of the country. I went to Seoul for a couple of days, and while I was there, I was just there by myself, and I don't know, shopping. Saw this hat, and bought it. Anyway,
Mhm.
that's where I got
Mhm.
the hat.
Well, I mean, I just think it's your signature, right? We are not used to seeing you without the hat. And actually, the other day you were without a hat when we were actually doing a podcast. And I was like, wait, what is he doing? That's not him. He's not
Occasionally,
a
Well,
character.
I was more impressed. I'm like, oh, you have hair.
Yeah.
I do. You would think I was bald because I'm always wearing a hat, but I do have hair.
Yeah, no, and that's fun. And speaking of hats, I know that when you had Mike Asherbrenner in your show too, you actually paid homage to his hat. So, see if you mind pulling that picture up, I think that's hilarious. Just
Yeah.
because so all these shenanigans that happen behind, the project. So, tell us about that hat specifically.
Well, that one, by the way, I love the shirt you're wearing. Let's pay
Of
attention to
course.
that first. Roll Tide. But no, that hat, I brought it over because I knew I would be working out in the fields. For to make paper, you have to grow trees. So we grow trees and we harvest them, and so I knew I would be doing some field work. So I actually brought that one from America. That was like a two.
Mm.
That was a $2 Walmart hat right there.
Yeah, Mike is always saying that they're like, yeah, it's very cheap. But
Yeah.
I mean, I just thought I was like, that is not his hat. But I was like, interesting. And so, yes, thank you for bringing up Alabama. I did lose a bet to you. So if you guys are not familiar with what Business Bets and Buddies is, we had literally this is week what 14 now, and now it's
No,
semifinals
16.
16. Yeah,
Yeah, we're in the playoffs now.
yeah,
Well, you're not in the playoffs, but
yeah. I am
Yep,
now.
rub it in, mister.
Thanks.
some
Yes,
of us, some of us are in the playoffs.
yes, I
Some of us have
see.
never played fantasy before. Back off.
So yeah, so we have this fantasy football league, and it was 10 of us actually. So shout out to everybody else who joined. I saw Sister Constance Leland, Dr. Constance Leland earlier. Thank you, love you. Thank you for popping up, Dr. New. Hi, and Jeff, right? Walliner. I can never pronounce his last name. Somebody help me.
Walliner.
Walliner, and then
Yeah,
Chris from Walking Tall.
I can't pronounce his last name.
I had a hard time with that one too. And then, we got Mike, right? And we got Raquel Rock the Boat. Shout out, sister. I'll be meeting her, geez, in like 2, 3 weeks. Yes,
Oh
we're
wow,
meeting her in
that's
person. So
awesome.
I'm excited. Shout out to you, love. Thank you. So yes, in our group, whenever we lost that specific week, we would have a bet. And unfortunately, I lost the week I went against Mark. So his, I guess, I don't know, my punishment, for lack of a better word, is I had to wear an Alabama shirt. And if y'all know, I am deep, like hardcore uh, Aggie, and Alabama burned my skin. That shirt burned my skin, no joke. But just kidding. But yeah, so this is what you're seeing, the shenanigans behind. And then Sia also lost. So Sia, what was yours? Oh, she's
Yeah, I'm on mute. No, I was talking to James in the background. He hears an echo, so I was typing back, going, "Is it me?" Because I'm on mute. It's either Raquel or Mark right now. But anyway, yeah, I like a dumb, what, thought, hey, I do bets all day long. Those are fun. So he's like, yeah, why don't you send me 2 cigars if you lose? And I said, okay, thinking, I don't know, most people I know are in, like, I don't know, the continental United States, like, line of, transportation. Come to find out, I can't just simply buy cigars online and ship it to Japan, because Japan has some wonky laws. So thus began the epic back and forth of trying to ship this damn cigars to Mark. And apparently he must have received it, my
he
friend. So
just got it today, right?
did you just get it
I
today?
I got it yesterday, and my wife. It came last night, and my I was back here working on something, and she's like, "Mark, you got some kind of large package from the United States," and I'm like, "Really? I don't. Nobody there likes me that much." And then I
You're
opened it, and I
right.
was like, "I can't believe it! It actually finally came. The cigars from
Okay.
Syya." And you went above and beyond, my friend, because it was 2 cigars, and I thought I was going to get some like Swisher Sweets. These are all like, I can open it here. Well, you can't see them. I had to put some something in there to humidify because they were, one of them was a little dried out from the flight. But these are like
Sorry.
all top of the, no, they're fine because they were in cellophane. But these are like top of the line. These are
So
awesome
so
cigars.
so the 3 month wait to for her to pay up the bet actually paid off.
Yeah, it was worth it. Totally
Damn
worth it.
straight. Well,
I
you know
love
what's so
it.
funny? Hey, let me just go ahead and just give one comment to everybody. If you're going to ship to Japan cigars, don't go through FedEx. They don't ship cigars. They have a very firm policy. And had prior to them knowing, they were going to charge me $200 to ship that thing.
That's crazy.
And I was
No,
like, and my
yeah.
Mm.
boyfriend's looking at me, he's like, that doesn't sound right. And then when I said, God, for a freaking cigar bet, and that's when they're like, oh no, ma'am, we can't ship it. So full kudos, USPS, United States Postal
Yeah,
Service. I know people make fun of them and all that good stuff, but you know what?
but
It
you
didn't
can do
cost
it.
anywhere near 200. It was only $50. And they're like, oh, it's going to arrive in 2 weeks. And I was like, yeah, fine, no big deal. It arrived in what, 5 days. And so
Yeah.
what FedEx was trying to charge for $250, I only paid $50. So anyone that's going to ship, hint, hint, because Mark needs cigars in his life, apparently.
Yes. If you can either donate to Zen Sammich, zensammich.com if you want to support the podcast, or just send me cigars. I take cigars or cash, either way.
Okay, this is funny. We definitely have to do that. Maybe do like a GoFund, or not a GoFund for
Yeah.
Yeah,
cigars,
go
but
fund,
what
go
is
fund me cigar run.
Crowdfunding. Yeah.
crazy? So
And I saw
yes.
Dr. New had asked, like, do I actually smoke cigars? I had one this morning. I was so excited when I got these last night, but it was already dark and it was snowing a little bit last night. It's cold here. And I'm like, oh, man, I want one so bad. So this morning I got up and watched the sunrise with La Flor Dominica.
Oh,
Dominicana, yeah.
Dominicana. Wow. See, I don't know anything about cigars, but
That's a good
the
one.
Store and Profits were actually trying to teach me a little bit of that in San Antonio back in September. So that was interesting, just to learn the world of cigars.
Oh my God.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
I knew all of them she got. I was like, wow, she spared no expense. She got the top of the line.
Yeah, there you go. Say, Syya. Hey.
Hey,
There
you know what it
go.
was like, if I'm gonna like waste my time like going to 15 different locations trying to ship the damn things, without like legal issues.
Yeah. Well, hey, I
Yeah.
was going to say, talk about the sumo. I know you were so excited. We had that picture really. Tell us a little bit about that experience. And those guys are celebrities, right?
They are. Well, the two on the ends there, the one in the middle, he's working his way up the rankings, but the two on the outsides, they're both big time celebrities. That guy on the right, his name's Hokuto Fuji, and he was shocked that I was standing in line to buy my Shinkansen ticket to come back to Yamaguchi, and I looked behind me, and he's standing behind me, and I like screamed out, Hokuto Fuji, and I almost scared him. Almost scared this sumo guy, and because here was just this gaijin, this foreigner, this white guy that knew who he was, and I'm like, yeah, man, I've got a poster of you on my wall. I don't really have a poster of him on my wall, but I know who he is, and yeah, he's high up in the rankings. I'm a sumo fan. I'm a when in Rome, do as the Romans kind of guy. So like if I were in, I don't know, South Florida right now, I'd probably be a highlight fan or something, if you know what highlight is. I enjoy sports. I could watch Romania and Bulgaria in water polo, and I'll pick a side.
I love that though, because you learn so much through sports. Do you learn about the culture? You learn so many different things just through sports. So you and I vibe off of that too. You can talk
Yeah.
every single day, all day about college football.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So this is interesting for me, just to kind of see you so excited, just going to these matches, right? They call matches, I believe, right? No?
Yeah, the individual.
Tournament.
Yeah, it's a tournament. It lasts that's the thing about sumo too. It lasts 15 days. It's 2 weeks, and they fight every day. So like a boxer will fight once, and then, granted, the nature of the sport's a little bit different. You get really beat up in boxing, and so you can't box again for a couple of months. But these guys sumo is rough too, and these guys do it for 15 days straight. And it's not just two fat guys like bouncing against each other. There's 82 different ways to win a sumo match. 82. And these guys are athletes. Yes, they're big. Yes, they got some fat on their body, but they got a lot of muscle under that fat too.
I can imagine the strength and yeah. So to me, see, I've never gotten into that. So something else I'm going to research a little bit more before I go. But yes, we have a question here from none other than the guys. Mark, why do you hate Canadians so much when they love you?
That's a whole nother episode, but I can tell you where my first distaste and dis-Canadians came from. It was actually the first time I was in Japan. Not the first time, the second time I was in Japan in 04 and 05, and there were some Canadian teachers that I befriended somewhat, and they were just telling me about how much they hated Americans and how much that like when they would go overseas, Canadians wear the little maple leaf flag on their backpack so that no one will mistake them for being an American. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? Screw you guys. I don't know. That's all. That's the short answer. Like Canadians, I'm fine. I like Canadians, all right, but they don't like Americans generally.
But I think more than anything, there's a specific two or a duo that you
Well,
have
the
bantering.
soaring, because they invited me onto their show. I know we're running out of time. We got to wrap this
Yeah.
up, but they invited me onto their show once. I put it
Hmm.
on my calendar, and look, I'm a busy fella. I got the podcast, I got the washi making thing. I
Hmm.
do teach a couple of English classes on the side. I'm busy, but I made time for these Canadians. And then when my episode came up, I wasn't on it. I wasn't on the show. Somebody else was in my place. I'm like, hey, what's up, James and Pat? You had me on the calendar. Oh, we forgot, eh? Oh, sorry about that. And then they keep scheduling me, and they just keep me in the green room. They never let me on. I keep getting bumped each week.
Man, well, I hope 2024 will see a change in that, right?
I hope
You
we'll see.
certain
We'll see.
prophets, come on now, get it together.
I mean,
Listen,
how much can someone sit in a green room I mean, Mark, how much time do you love these guys that you're like freaking like, oh, I guess I'm not going live. You know what it is? It reminds me of like those comedians are like, oh, is that gonna be my time? I'm gonna get pulled up on stage. Am I gonna get pulled up? And they're like, no, next show, buddy.
yeah, yeah, no, but I just think it's funny, just to see the interactions that we have within the groups, and it's just awesome. So I believe we have one more question, and then let's see where it is. Dr. New has a question right here. Sorry. What are some of your favorite things that you love about Japan?
Uh, Most things. I like the food. I like kimonos and chopsticks and all that good stuff. I'll
Okay.
tell you, it's easier to answer the question of what I don't care for, because
Okay.
and what I mean by that is, like, a lot of people are Japanophiles. That is an actual word. That someone who's obsessed with Japanese culture. A lot of people are Japanophiles
Mhm.
over things like anime and
Anime,
manga,
manga.
and
Hmm.
I just don't care
Okay.
about that stuff. I'm just not into it. But you could say I'm into everything. I am a Japanophile in that, like, I like everything else Japanese. And it's not that I dislike manga or anime. It just doesn't float my boat.
Mm.
That's all. But
Okay.
everything else, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I love the wackiness of it. I'll say that. Like, there's a game show here where, like, um you taste, you come in and you taste, like, is this chocolate or is it a shoe? Like, you have
I
to
know
bite
that.
it. Yeah,
Yep.
and you have to bite it, and, like, it could be chocolate, or that's shaped just like a shoe. It looks just like one, or it could be an actual shoe. And just the bizarre stuff. There's an old show called Takeshi's Castle where it was like an obstacle course, and people would just get banged around and fall into a moat. It's just awesome. It's just awesome wackiness.
Well,
Uh,
the TV show Wipeout is actually a result of Japanese games. Like all those
Yes.
Japanese shows are amazing. Like
Yep.
oh.
there's this one. So as I like to think, like the British comedy for game shows, they've got really funny comedians that they have
Mhm.
on, and it's basically a big long comedian skit in the form of a game show. In Japan, theirs is all about like the physical aspect. And there's just one game where you had to it was like a wall coming at you with a cutout, and your body had to conform to the shape of it.
Yeah. Yes.
Holy
Yeah.
smokes,
That's good.
and it would just mows you over if you don't get it right. And there's another one where it's like you have to climb up a hill, but it's all oiled down. And so you get people just like climbing slowly but surely, and then you got people yanking each other down, and then everyone goes down the hill. I mean, it's
I,
hilarious. It is just I love Japanese like games like that. They're just fun.
that totally, and it's just so wacky. It's like, oh my god, I can't even. Somebody dreamed
Mhm.
this up. This is amazing. I know we're really out of time. One last example of the difference in
Mhm.
cultures, though. Do either of you know the cooking show that used to be on called Cutthroat Kitchen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
in
Yes.
yes.
America. So, just the premise, Raquel, is that, like, you can bid on you get a certain amount of money at the beginning, and you're competing against three other chefs. So there's four chefs, and you're
Okay.
competing, and you can bid on sabotages to give to the other cooks. Now, this is an American show. This is the reason I'm bringing this up is, so my wife and I, we watched every season, every episode. She loved the show, but she was like, this show would never make it in Japan because Japanese people would not want to sabotage someone,
Sabotage.
they would buy the thing and just sabotage themselves.
themselves.
Like, yes, they were just like, I'll take the sabotage. I
Eh,
cannot. I respect the chef too
Yeah.
much to, you know. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
so, but that's totally American. Like, oh yeah, let's screw Chef Syya up. Oh yeah, give that sabotage to Chef Raqi over there. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's the
I mean,
difference
Well,
between American and Japanese culture.
speaking of like chef shows, so if you guys know Iron Chef,
Oh yeah,
so that's a
yeah, I
Japanese
do.
show. And fun
originally, yeah.
fact on that is I worked for one of the chefs that actually won in the Japanese series, not the American series. So shout
Wow.
out Chef Ron Siegel. He
Yeah,
won Iron Chef out in Japan, and so
that's
and
awesome.
the funny thing about he was telling me was, and he's just he's from Louisiana, very mellow, like chill guy, but he mumbles to himself. And yes, Chef Ron, I'm telling you everything about. He just talks to himself. It's hilarious.
Okay.
And so, but he would call us all chef back. So he'd be like, "Hey,
Uh,
chef, take out this dish to blah blah blah," right? And everyone knew he was talking to us. We didn't know our name. He didn't know our names. He just called us chef. And
yeah.
but he told us during his filming,
Mhm.
there's electrical cords running through the water because when you're in a kitchen, active stage kitchen, the water started puddling up for whatever reason. And he goes, we were getting electrocuted like everywhere we went.
Wow.
So if you watch that episode, you could see all the people cooking like wincing every now and then. It wasn't because they all had nervous ticks. They were literally
God.
getting electrocuted.
Getting a jolt.
Oh
Nice.
Yeah.
my God, that's crazy. Yeah, I definitely need to check that one out. I have so much TV to watch with, I mean, just based on these references that you guys have given today. My
Oh my
goodness,
god. And
guys.
we should do a midnight party
We
watching one of
should.
those games because they are so funny.
We
They're
Oh, they're
should.
so
great.
funny.
We
Yeah.
should. It's like stress relief type of thing. Uh, Mark, I mean, gosh, I know we've done this. We've gone like literally like 4 or 5 hours chatting offline, and it's fun. It's amazing. But for the purpose of the show, we definitely won't do that. But let's give the audience a parting Zen golden nugget from the Zen master himself. What would you say?
Oh wow. I'm not on the spot or anything.
And I didn't
Yeah.
highlight you either.
Yeah. No. I'll answer it this way, and I'm borrowing from an answer I gave on another time I was asked a similar question, like "What's your advice to the world?" kind of thing, and the thing that comes to my mind is that when it seems paradoxical, but when you feel sad, or when you feel when you feel, or maybe you just feel bored with life or whatever, the answer is to provide happiness for someone else. Instead of pursuing happiness for yourself, it's to go do something for someone, and that translates to a lot of other areas, not just sadness, like patience. If I'm impatient, if I'm standing in the line at the grocery store and I'm impatient, I want it to go faster, I want it to hurry up. I recognize that thought, and I realize that's kind of a selfish thought. I want the line to hurry up for me. So I will take my energy and my attention, and I'm like, what could I do for my wife today? I should buy her. I'm going to get out of this line. I'm going to get back in a longer line because I'm going to go buy her some flowers and a card or something.
Mhm.
And it makes you a more patient person. And doing something for someone, that's where you'll find happiness. You find happiness within,
Mhm.
but you find it through helping people and giving back to other people. Sending people cigars, that will make you happy.
Oh my God. But I love that though, just because, that's the reason why we all vibe in our group. And it's because we always have the desire to help people. And
Mm,
all of us have different talents, different, coming from different experiences in life. And our innate, our heart, is rooted in unity and wanting to do the best thing that we can and, contribute back to the world. So Mark, thank you so much for that golden nugget and for, being here, imparting us with your Zen wisdom. I think it's very amazing during these times that we have to stop and reflect a little bit about how we lead our lives and how we want to lead them moving forward into 2024. But beside that, guys, I hope you connected and use this time to learn and connect in the comments. Reach out to Mark. We have the QR code, but it's Zen Sammich, okay? Like it's supposed to be, like Mark always says. So yes, let people know how they can reach out.
Oh, yeah, zensammich.com. Or just you can find me on LinkedIn, Mark Reid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just make sure it's Mark with the K.
Yeah.
Because there's
Well,
another with the
Mark
C.
Mark Reid is a kind of common name, so you could put the JD at the end. My law degree or whatever. Anyway, go to
Yeah.
zensammich.com. Follow me there. Zensammich.com.
And you don't want to definitely miss those episodes. They are amazing. So, guys, without prolonging this, just want to wish you all thank you. First of all, thank you for being here on this Saturday. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so for the support. And thank you, Mark, for the love towards my Aggies. I love you, love you, love you. Thank you for just being amazing. And guys, have happy holidays. Please, please be safe. Be mindful. We still have another week left in this year, and just being with the family, have unity. Remember always to lead with kindness and love. We love you. Thank you for everything, and we shall see you back next week with another fantastic guest. All right, guys. Thank y'all. Thanks for joining us, and I hope our chat inspired you to make a new connection. Please like and subscribe, and let's build a great community in our little corner where we get serious business done by injecting fun. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, come back to Raquel's Connection Corner.